You see, Jimmy V and I have something very, very close in common. I'm a cancer survivor as well. And when you see 510, what does it conjure up in terms of meaning in your mind's eye? Well, about mid-December, it's the Bears record, 5 wins and 10 losses. Or it's the price of a gallon of gas. But May of 2010 was the worst year of my life. I was on a different plane and a different existential trajectory. You see, I was on that hedonistic treadmill, trying to win the morning game. I was a sales and marketing executive in the information technology space. I had lots of stuff, and I lived and ascribed to that bumper sticker that you might see, "He who dies with the most toys wins." And then the universe hit me upside the head in May of 2010, and I changed the trajectory of my being because I recognized I wouldn't win the more game, and I needed to get off that hedonistic treadmill. My dad fell out of a third-floor window to his death. He didn't jump. I had a raging alcohol and cocaine problem that I wasn't winning, that I was losing. And then May 18th of 2010, St. Alexis Medical Center in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, Doctors Building 2, 5th floor, Dr. Jeffrey Bacall's office, Suite 537 at 1:45 p.m., Dr. Bacall told me, "Doug, you've got cancer." And my reaction to the C word was the big D word of denial. That can't happen to me. I've got a plan. I had a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 1-year plan, a quarterly plan, a monthly plan, a weekly plan, a daily plan, and an hourly plan. But when I was given that death sentence of cancer, I recognized that tomorrow is promised to no one, and I had to course correct my rudder and my life and my attitude, and I recognized that the only way out is through. The only way out is through. Each and every one of you in the room today has gone through a 510 in some way, shape, or form. You don't get out of this journey we call life and living without a little pain. But I submit to you and invite you to consider the power of attitude, the power of thought, the power of positive intention did amazing things for me. I was involved in a cancer survivors group. And we had all sorts of researchers, oncologists, therapists, PhDs attached to our group. Not everyone made it, but I made some of the deepest, most meaningful relationships outside of my family ever. And what they found, and I distilled it down here for you, factors cancer survivors cite in preventing a recurrence. 4% of the time, you just need some plain luck. There's a lot of uncertainty, 5% of the time. If you can and can take those dice and can roll them on complementary therapies. You see, I was an eye doctor, not literally, but figuratively. I suffered from terminal memes. It was all about I, me. But I had to get out of myself. I had to reduce the stress to the best of my ability. I had to exercise if and when I could, live a more healthy lifestyle, watch my diet, not only put what I put into my mouth, but what I put into my heart, my mind, my soul, and my emotions. But 60% of the time, we found that a positive attitude in concert with these other things helped to prevent a second reoccurrence of cancer. Norman Cousins, in his book back in the 70s, Anatomy of an Illness from a Patient's Perspective, speaks to a lot of this. The power of a positive attitude, the power of positive attention. If it can do that for cancer, what can it do for you in terms of selling and new business development? How many of you have shit on yourselves? Anyone in the room shit on themselves? I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have worked a little harder, I should have saved a little more for my retirement, I should have told my spouse, partner, wife or husband, my kids, my family, that I love them more, how much they mean to me. Because as I mentioned to you, each and every one of you has gone through a 5-10 in some way, shape, or form. Don't shit on yourselves. I had an opportunity to speak in South Africa a few years back, and I had a little time with my wife. We don't have kids. We've got a 4-legged kid, Wrigley, my 12-year-old Cavapoo, who we spoil. But I was traveling, and my wife gets to travel with me quite often. That's one of the pleasures of being a speaker. But I was at the intersection, the bisection of Zambia and Zimbabwe at Victoria Falls. Before I get into this story, how many of you have a refrigerator at home? And in that refrigerator, you have meat and dairy products with an expiration date, right? And if those meat and dairy products go beyond that expiration date, you'll throw them out. You won't eat or ingest them for fear of getting ill, correct? I believe that opportunities in life like this one, for me, to get in a microflight above Victoria Falls, are perishable like meat and dairy products in your refrigerator. Did I have butterflies? You bet, but I got those butterflies to fly in formation. If you had a close-up, you'd see that's me, that's my German pilot Hans. You'd see that my hands and fingernails are permanently impaled in the side handles of that microflight. And the one thing that I wish I had that I did not, depends. Do the thing you fear the most, and that's the death of fear. Do the thing you fear the most, and that's the death of fear. I always wanted to climb Everest, 29,000 feet, but 5'10" wiped me out mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. The only way out is through, so I followed one of my big bucket lists. It couldn't be Everest, but it was Kilimanjaro, 19,340 feet. I don't share that with you to brag or I've done more or be braggadocious, but each and every one of you has gone through your 5'10" in some way, shape, or form. I challenge you, I submit to you and invite you to consider, what is your Everest? What is your Kilimanjaro? With the right attitude, you can summit your mountains. Hi, this is Doug Dvorak, professional speaker and trainer. If you're scratching your head and wondering why is Doug dressed up in this red Star Trek uniform, it's because I'm at the Joint Commission's annual sales conference and kickoff meeting at the Renaissance Hotel here in Chicago, and they had a themed event of Star Trek. So I customized my message, did a little skit incorporating my Second City experience. I'd welcome the opportunity to bring my humor, creativity, sales, leadership, and motivation content to your next event. Please check out my website at www.dougdvorak.com or give me a call personally for a free, no obligation meeting assessment. I'm at 847-359-6969. Thanks and carpe diem.